What's going on, guys? This is Sal from Let's Talk Video Games, and today we are here to go over my entire physical game collection. It's a very small physical game collection, but I decided I might as well make this video now because my collection isn't gonna get any smaller than this. I'm guessing. We will see, because I'm always selling and rebuying games to make videos and stuff like that. I used to have a much larger physical game collection, as you guys see here. I decided to sell a lot of my collection to buy the gaming PC that I now use. I've always loved collecting physical video games, but you know, it's a very expensive hobby for people to keep up with. Everything's always changing in prices, and sometimes video games just skyrocket in price for no reason. But I'm pretty sure guys, don't quote me on that, all the games here I will be keeping in my collection. We have about 57 games. I have my entire video game collection here in front of me. My collection is always changing, and we'll see where it ends up in a couple of years. But without further ado, let's get into this. We are gonna start with the only PlayStation 1 game in my collection. The one PlayStation 1 game that anyone should have in their collection, that everybody should have in their collection, and that is the Land Before Time Big Water Adventure. If you don't have this in your collection, you're not a serious PlayStation 1 collector. This game here, I don't know why I have it in this plastic box. It's not like it's a rare game or anything, but I have a huge history with this game here. When I was a kid, I used to play this and Lucky Luke all the time on my brother's PlayStation 1, and I always wanted to have a physical of this game when I got older, and it was one of the first PlayStation 1 games that I did buy for my collection, and it's just always stuck around. I don't know why, but it has. It's like a 2D platformer. It says here, explore 4 worlds and 22 levels in the new water soggy swamp. You play as Littlefoot, Ducky, Sarah, and Spike. I really loved the Land Before Time movies back in the day when I was a kid. I ended up getting rid of most of the games in my PlayStation 1 collection, but I ended up keeping this one for some reason. I see no reason to really collect PlayStation 1 games anymore for me, especially since you could play a lot of the games on DuckStation and run them better than they would run on the actual hardware itself. Really do not see myself collecting more PlayStation 1 games, maybe just to have them for the nostalgia, like the King of Fighters 1999 or something like that. That's my only PlayStation 1 game. You guys should buy this game. It's probably super cheap anyways. Now we're heading into PlayStation 2, and you guys are gonna be mad because of the games I have for it. Some of these people would not consider these games because they're sort of like demo discs. But really, I just have 2 PlayStation 2 original games, and that is some sports games. They are Sony titles. They were published by Sony. That's ATV Off-Road Fury 2 and ATV Off-Road Fury 3. These are very fun kart racers. I'm just kidding, they're not kart racers. I honestly do not remember them that much. I would play the first one more than these. And then we have the demo discs for Jam Pack. We got Winter 2003 Jam Pack, as you see there. Also, I have a lot of my games in these plastic sleeves or plastic boxes. That's why you guys see a lot of reflections there. I love the PlayStation 2 demo discs from back in the day. Volume 14 Jam Pack. We got a lot of demos here, like Shadow of the Colossus, iToy, Ratchet, Deadlocked, Okami. These are super cheap. You guys could probably find these on eBay or anywhere for super cheap. Jam Pack Summer 2003. It's got The Getaway, War of the Monsters. But yeah, I really enjoy those demo discs because they do have a lot of cool demos in it. Not really a reason to have those nowadays when you could just emulate the PlayStation 2 games. But it's just cool to have those. Very nostalgic. So now we're gonna go into PlayStation 3. I would say that this is going to be the biggest part of this video. First, we're going to go into some Blu-rays because I have 2 Blu-rays here that are for the PlayStation 3. We have the Welcome to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Network Blu-ray. These are also super cheap. I got these on eBay for like a couple dollars here and there. But these are basically just like introductions to the PlayStation 3. We have the Welcome to PlayStation 3 and PlayStation Network. I remember getting this back when I got my PlayStation 3, and I used to watch this all the time because I had no money, so I couldn't buy games. They had a lot of cool trailers in there, even movie trailers, Blu-ray movies. I like collecting things like this for nostalgia. The original Assassin's Creed from 2007, the title that basically killed off Prince of Persia. If you guys don't know this, I am a huge fan of Prince of Persia, and this game killed it off since it did become very popular during this generation. So Ubisoft just started pumping out Assassin's Creed games every year, and that was that for Prince of Persia. Really, we only had about 2 Prince of Persia games during the 7th generation of consoles, but this one I thought was great, even amazing at the time. Everyone was kind of talking down on this one when it released, since there was a lot of stealth sections in it, and obviously once the sequel released, Assassin's Creed 2, people did prefer the character of Ezio Auditore. But I've always been a fan of this original one from 2007. Battlefield Bad Company. We never got Battlefield Bad Company 3. That should be a crime, really. I've always preferred the original Battlefield Bad Company. I know that's sort of a weird take. Everyone always says how they love this one. This one was great as well. The campaign in this was great. The gameplay is great. The multiplayer, which I never played, I heard was great. But it's really weird that we never really got a sequel to this. It sort of just jumped back into the mainline Battlefield games with Battlefield 3, and after that we really didn't go back to the Bad Company series. I do prefer the original, but this one is also great as well. Battlefield 3 is also a very great game. During the time that this came out back in 2011, I remember playing this and thinking it looked amazing graphically. It looked so insane. How did EA make a game look this good during the PlayStation 3 generation, when Battlefield was kind of duking it out with Call of Duty more, when they actually stood a chance? But now Battlefield has been in a fast decline over the last 10 years or so, but they are working on a new one, so we will see what happens. Crysis 2 and Crysis 3. Out of both of these, this one is definitely better. If you guys have not played Crysis, make sure you play Crysis. These are available now on modern hardware, so you could play these on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. There is a trilogy on PlayStation 4, you can play it on PC, Xbox Series X, 3DS maybe? No, I don't think so. Crysis is one of my favorite first-person shooter franchises. I've always loved the Crysis trilogy, with my favorite being 2, followed by the original Crysis, and then Crysis 3. I do prefer the story of Crysis 2, and I do prefer the openness of Crysis 1 when it comes to the gameplay. And Crysis 3 is sort of a melding of both, but I kind of don't like that it really doesn't decide on what it wants to be. Although the story was good and overall the game was good when it released, I loved it. Then we come to a game I have not even opened, that is Child of Eden. This is a PlayStation Move game. You could play it without PlayStation Move, but most people would play this with a PlayStation Move. I honestly do not even know what kind of game this is. I'm guessing it's a rhythm game. I have not started playing this at all, so I really don't know what this game is about. I bought this because it was super cheap and it's brand new. I think I got it for around $8 bucks, something like that, brand new, which I think is a steal for any brand new game. This was back when I was buying a lot of PlayStation Move titles, because I didn't want to make a video on that, and I still might, but we will see what happens with that. That's Child of Eden. So this is the God of War collection. God of War collection, if you guys don't know, is the first, maybe the first collection of games that we have that sort of started that trend of remasters and remakes. Back during the PlayStation 3 generation, you know, we didn't really have a lot of collections or remasters before this. On the Super Nintendo, we had that All-Stars collection with the Super Mario games, and that was sort of the first time. But this was really where it kicked off, and we started to see a lot of remasters. You guys know how it is nowadays. There's a lot of remasters of different games or remakes and stuff like that. This is the game that kicked that off. And God of War 1 and 2, I love God of War 1 and 2. They're some of the best games of all time. Some of the best action adventure hack and slash games. I love these games. I don't care what people say about how Kratos was terrible in these games. I still prefer these games over the newer like Ragnarok, and 2018 is great. But I think overall they kind of have gone off course when it comes to what God of War is. And I really don't like the RPG like stuff, like the stats and mechanics and wearing different gear and stuff like that. I don't know. I just do not like that. And I like the approach they had back then. It was a very closed off game. You knew where you were gonna go. You know, there was a lot of puzzles, but they were sort of straightforward. Go from point A to point B, you know what you're doing. And now it's like God of War is just all over the place. And I don't know, that's not what I'm into really. You could be into both styles of games and really enjoy both. But me, myself, and I enjoy these much more. Then we have the God of War Origins collection. This is a collection of the PlayStation portable titles that were released by Ready at Dawn, published by Sony, of course. But these also were some of the best games of all time. I think some of the best handheld games of all time as well, with Ghosts of Sparta and Chains of Olympus. These games were just immaculate on that PlayStation Portable. It was such a small device, you know, with that screen, and that they were able to pull off making a God of War title on a small handheld like that is just amazing. I think it's kind of sad to see them go from making those PlayStation Portable titles to then making the Order, which I thought was good, the Order 1886. Then going to making now, I think it's Oculus games and stuff like that. I don't know, it's just kind of sad to me because I thought they were really talented. That's the Origins collection. Then we have the God of War that's kind of messed up the franchise. We have God of War Ascension. I enjoyed this game back when it came out. I really didn't see the negativity behind it. Obviously, I didn't care about the multiplayer. I did try it, it was fun at times, but really I wasn't too into it. I do see why people were pissed at this game. I thought the story was quite good, although it was kind of weird, you know, having a prequel to the prequel Chains of Olympus. I think this takes place in between the PlayStation Portable titles or before them. Release this on modern hardware, you know, it's still part of God of War, part of the history of God of War. This should be available to purchase. Same with the other God of Wars, the collections. Like, why aren't those available on PlayStation 5? Really, Sony? Then we come to the Halo killer, Haze by Ubisoft. I don't know if you guys have ever played Haze, but this is a pretty cool first-person shooter by Free Radical. I believe they don't exist anymore. Haze is a first-person shooter that was meant to sort of kill Halo. It was exclusive to PlayStation 3. I believe later on it was meant to come to Xbox 360, but it never did because it failed, it bombed. During this generation, we got a lot of random first-person, third-person shooters from companies like Ubisoft. Ubisoft doesn't really make these style of games anymore. They're all about Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, all the franchises that make the money, and making these one-off games that are sort of risk to make. They don't really dabble in that anymore. It's just a shame because this was exclusive to PlayStation 3. You could play this on our PCS3 on the emulation side, and it runs great on there. It looks better than on the actual console, but games like this are lost to time, you know? And they always will be. Let's get into this one, guys. The Killzone trilogy, with the first Killzone from the PlayStation 2 generation. This is actually the only way to play that game remastered in HD. Then we have Killzone 2, which is an amazing first-person shooter. I love Killzone 2, and also Killzone 3, which is freaking awesome. Out of all of these, I want to say Killzone 3 is probably my favorite one, but I would say Killzone 2 is probably the best one when it really comes down to it. The multiplayer was also really fun in these. It makes me miss those times, you know, that 7th generation, and having so many of these titles, so many first-person shooters coming out of Sony with this and the Resistance trilogy. I really miss when Sony would actually try to make unique games. That hasn't happened in a while, I'll tell you that. We have all the Last of Us remasters and remakes, and they're probably remaking The Last of Us right now. If you guys don't know, the people that made this, they also made Horizon. I do enjoy those games as well, but not as much as these. Kung Fu Rider. This is also another one of those PlayStation Move games. This is one of the weirdest games of all time. You play as a character that's riding a chair and using it like a vehicle or something. I played it for a little bit. It was super weird. This is considered like to be very bad. This is one of the reasons why PlayStation Move did not take off. Although it is cool that we have all these random PlayStation Move games on PlayStation 3, and these will obviously never be ported to modern hardware because of the PlayStation Move. I had to buy this, it was super cheap, so I had to get it for the collection. So now we come to another first party IP that is sort of just gone right now. That is Little Big Planet. I don't know if you guys have ever played Little Big Planet, but when this released, this was sort of what I thought was the answer to Mario from Sony. Obviously, it became its own thing, with there being a lot of like create and share and customization with the characters and the worlds, and you could kind of make your own game in this, which then led to them making Dreams. As you guys know, that didn't go so well. I dabbled with them and I played them a lot with family members. We sort of just played these games to have fun. I never really focused on playing the actual story, but maybe I'll go back to this and review it. Little Big Planet was always a very unique game. I always loved the intro of this game. It just seemed like Sony was in their bag when it came to creating unique ideas during this generation. And this was one of the games that came from that era of Sony. Then we have Little Big Planet 2, which released in 2010. During this time in 2010 and 2011, Sony was just releasing banger after banger with Little Big Planet 2. I think this game is better than Little Big Planet 1 when it comes to like the mini games and the overall quality. Although I have not played the other one too much, this one I actually played more of. Also, my nephews and nieces enjoyed playing this one a lot as well. And maybe I'll jump back into this one soon. I've just been playing old games recently. And the last Little Big Planet on PlayStation 3, Little Big Planet Karting. This is a kart racer made by the developers that made Sleeping Dogs. Yeah, United Front made this game, and it's pretty fun. I wouldn't say it's anywhere near as good as games like CTR, Crash Team Racing, or Mario Kart, but it's definitely a cool game that just randomly came out during the PlayStation 3 generation. And I'm glad we got it. It's kind of crazy that the developer that made Sleeping Dogs, RIP, made this game. It's just kind of like random that they made it. It's weird that Sony didn't make it. A remake reboot of Medal of Honor 2010. I believe this comes with the Medal of Honor Frontline port or remaster that they did for PlayStation 3. If you haven't played Medal of Honor Frontline, that game is dope as hell. This game I think is great. I know I might catch some flack for that. A lot of people did not enjoy this. They didn't enjoy Warfighter, which is the next one here, because this game was buggy as hell. Medal of Honor Warfighter, I still enjoy both of these. They're both great. I love first-person shooters, and I love first-person shooters with an actual story campaign. And these were very fun for me during that generation. I played this one a lot more than this one. I just played this one. I think I just played through Warfighter once, and this one I actually have played through like twice or 3 times. Overall, Medal of Honor 2010 is a better game, and Warfighter is technically a terrible game because of all the bugs that they had at launch. I still enjoy both though. They're both very fun games. Another PlayStation Move game, that is Medieval Moves Deadman's Quest. I remember when this came out, I really wanted to buy it. I think it was like 40 bucks, so I didn't because I had no money back then. I was in middle school. Really wanted to play this really bad. This and Sorcery for PlayStation Move. I was so on the PlayStation hype train. I just wanted Sony to succeed because that was the console I had. And you know, back during those times, everyone was into the console wars. Some people are into that now. I would say why really doesn't make any sense to be a console warrior nowadays with all the Xbox games being on PlayStation. It's just really stupid to be a console warrior, I guess, in 2025. But back then, I was like, yeah, PlayStation Move is way better than the Wii. I can't believe I was like that, but that was really fun. So I had to buy it, and it was super cheap. I believe I bought this for like $8 or $7 brand new. So I'm excited to get to this at one point if I ever make that PlayStation Move video. I do have a lot of PlayStation Move games here to actually make that video, so we will see, guys. We will see. Next is the best Super Smash Brothers clone of all time, and that is PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale. If you guys don't know what this is a Smash copycat made by Superbot Entertainment. I believe Seth Killian worked on this. He used to work on Street Fighter. They hired him to work on this game, or at least the fighting system for this game. Blue Point and Santa Monica Studios also worked on this. To what extent, I don't know. This was a Smash clone when Sony was kind of trying to chase that dragon as well. I think it's a fun ass game, honestly. I have never really been into Smash. I'm not into that style of fighting game. I don't consider those to be fighting games. Sorry, Smash community. I have always considered 2D fighters to be fighting games. That's what I consider a fighting game. But this game, I enjoyed a lot. It was just ridiculous, really, when you think about it. You have Nathan Drake just shooting his AK-47 at Jack from Jak and Daxter, or Parappa the Rapper. What is going on here? It's just crazy. A lot of good times with this game as well. I would play this a lot with my niece and nephews, and they would sort of force me to play it. I didn't want to play it sometimes, but I ended up having a good time. PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, such a time and place type of game. Next, we come to some of my favorite games on PlayStation 3. These are my favorite first-person shooters, and that is Resistance, Resistance 2, and Resistance 3. So we're gonna start with talking a little bit about Resistance Fall of Man. This one is the original Fall of Man. This was a launch title for PlayStation 3. This is from Insomniac. You guys probably know them from making Spider-Man, which I'm not like a super fan of. They made the Spider-Man games on PlayStation 4 and 5. They've also made Ratchet and Clank games, but this was always my favorite series from them, and this one is very great with the first-person shooter mechanics in this game, with not really being able to zoom in, how first-person shooters let you zoom in these days. But this one you could play in 4-player co-op, which was also very fun, and it also had a multiplayer that was very fun as well. That's the first Resistance. You play as Nathan Hale, I believe that's his name. Resistance 2. This one was a bit different. They sort of took out the weapon system from the first one. In the first one, you were able to carry all your weapons, sort of like in the Ratchet and Clank games. So you just have a huge inventory of weapons to work with. In this one, they sort of changed it to be more in line with normal first-person shooters, and you just had 2 weapons and your grenades. I wasn't a huge fan of that, but the story is much better in this one. The cutscenes are great. You also play as Nathan Hale in this one, and overall the story was just better, and I really enjoyed my time with this one. I need to replay those, by the way. I need to make a video for those. Resistance is an awesome franchise. Resistance 3, I would say this one is my favorite one. This one has 2-player co-op. Also, there was a wave mode that was very awesome. I loved playing the wave mode on this. And I believe there's a PlayStation Move gun you can get to play this. I've never tried that, but that would be fun to try. I need to get my hands on one of those PlayStation Move guns. But Resistance 3 is one of the best first-person shooters ever made, I think. The story is amazing. You don't play as Nathan Hale in this one. You play as Joseph Capelli. The entire game you're trying to get to New York City, and Joseph's last attempt to stop the extinction of the human race. It's amazing. Play it. Sorcery, another PlayStation Move game. This was the other one I was talking about earlier that I always wanted to play. When this released, I remember it getting good scores. I really wanted to play it, but I couldn't afford it. I have it here now. It's brand new. I bought it brand new for like 10 bucks or so. So I'm excited to get to this one day, but I have not got to it yet. Then the best PlayStation Move game. This game is awesome. It's sort of an answer from Sony to the Wii Sports Resorts games and all those sports champions. This is sort of a compilation of mini games for the PlayStation Move. You got your disc golf, beach volleyball, archery, table tennis, gladiator duel, and bouquet. A lot of cool mini games to try out the PlayStation Move here. This was the game that launched with the PlayStation Move. So of course I did get this with the PlayStation Move back in the day. This is a blast. It's super cheap too. You could get this for like $1, $2. I believe I got this for $3 brand new. It's insane how cheap this game is. I barely bought this copy a couple of weeks ago, and that is The Last of Us. I just wanted to own a physical version of the original Last of Us release from 2013. The Last of Us is one of my favorite games of all time. If you guys can tell, I have the Ellie tattoo, but it's much smaller because they messed up. Whatever. The Last of Us. When you're lost in the darkness, look towards the light. If you guys have not played The Last of Us at this point, you guys have probably heard it from everyone. This is a masterpiece of a game. I love the second game as well. I think in some instances it is better than this one. Okay, don't murder me in the comments, guys. I love The Last of Us. This is probably my favorite game of all time. It's tied with Resident Evil 4, not the remake, the original 2005 Resident Evil 4, for my favorite game of all time. And this is just an immaculate game, story-wise, gameplay-wise. Everything about this game just screams masterpiece. I wish I could go back to experience this for the first time. Funny story about this game, when I first played it on PlayStation 3, I played like 10 minutes of it and I wasn't enjoying it because it was different from Uncharted. I love the Uncharted games, but I wasn't enjoying it, right? Because I didn't expect that from Naughty Dog. And I was sort of hating it in the beginning. I thought, wow, like I'm really not gonna enjoy this. And at some point it just clicked with me and I played it over and over again like 3 times. And it just became my favorite game of all time. I don't know how to explain it. It's just that good. Then we come to Trivial Pursuit. This is a trivia game. If you guys have not played Trivial Pursuit ever, this is a fun game. I bought this, I believe, when I went on a trip to Hawaii. I bought this at Book Off. It was super cheap, so I figured I might as well get it. And I do love my trivia games and having those physically. The Uncharted trilogy with Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Out of all of these, my favorite used to be Uncharted 3 Drake's Deception. Back when it released in 2011, I really enjoyed it. Nowadays, though, I have replayed them through the Nathan Drake collection a couple of years back. I would say, yeah, now I agree that 2 is the best one. 3 always holds that special place in my heart for being my favorite. But overall, I would say the one that has aged the best for me, this is the one that I've probably replayed the most, is Uncharted Drake's Fortune. This was one of the first games I played for PlayStation 3. I got the PlayStation 3 late because it was so expensive. And the first 3 games that I had for it, I had Haze and Uncharted Drake's Fortune and Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, right? What a trilogy of games to try. And Uncharted Drake's Fortune was the 3rd game I played in that bunch. While at first I thought, okay, this is from the guys that make Crash and Jag. That's crazy that they're making this game, right? An action adventure story game, sort of like Tomb Raider. I love the gameplay in this. It's so silly what the enemies say in this. They're always saying random things. It's so fun. The story is very fun, although the character models have not aged as well. Then we have Uncharted 2, what everyone considers to be the best Uncharted. It's this one and Uncharted 4. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves. When I look at this box art, it's so nostalgic to me. It takes me back to me and my sister staying up all night playing this online. It had a multiplayer, which was very fun. And the story was amazing. There are 25 perfect review scores, 10 out of 10. I remember that when this came out in 2009, everyone was like, this is the game of the year. I was like, what's going on? So I had played Uncharted 1, so I thought it was great, and everyone was saying this was amazing. So it's Uncharted 2. Then we have Uncharted 3. This game came out when I was just at the peak of my console warrior era, when I was super into PlayStation and I wanted Xbox to fail so bad. I know, guys, it's stupid. I don't know why I was like that back then. I think it was just because when I was at school, I was one of the only people that had a PlayStation 3 and everyone else had an Xbox 360, so everyone would just make fun of me. I think that's why I hated so much on the Xbox back during that generation. This game came out and everyone was like, this is also a 10 out of 10. I think Skyrim came out like a week later, and I really wanted this game to get Game of the Year. I don't know why. It was my Game of the Year. It didn't really matter if this got Game of the Year at the Spike Awards. But then Skyrim came out the week later and everyone was like, yup, this is Game of the Year, and I was so pissed. I don't know why, it's just stupid, but I always remember that being my experience with this game. I do love Uncharted 3 though. Then we have Unreal Tournament 3. I don't know why I have this, but I've had this for the longest time. I've had this, I want to say, since like 2010. So it's been about 15 years that I've had this physically in my collection. For some reason, it always just stays in my collection. Even when I'm getting rid of games, I think this is super cheap. Maybe that's why I just don't really see any reason in selling this and getting like $2 for it. That was a very fun game as well. A very fun multiplayer, first-person multiplayer game. Then we have one of my favorite WWE games, that's WWE All-Stars. This also brings back a lot of nostalgic memories for me. Playing this with my nephews and my niece, it was just so fun creating characters and then seeing how goofy they looked with how big like the wrestlers' bodies looked. For some reason they don't look normal in this, but it was a very different take. I would say that the 2K Battlegrounds game looks like dog water when it comes to how it looks with the art style. This one looks much better. If you want to experience an actual good game, an actual good wrestling game, you guys really need to play this. It's very fun. I believe it goes for around $25 to $35. It's also on Xbox 360. I don't think it's backwards compatible with anything, but it's just kind of sad that this game's just stuck on that generation of consoles. It's a very fun wrestling game and it's great. I'm just gonna show you guys 2 Xbox 360 games I have in my collection. I don't know if these are staying yet because, I'm sorry guys, I got rid of my Series X. I know, mostly because I figured I'm gonna get Game Pass on PC probably to play Doom The Dark Ages and maybe Expedition 33, we'll see. Sold my Xbox Series X to one of my good friends, Mike. So I no longer have a Series X, but for some reason I'm keeping these 2 Series X games because they are backwards compatible, so maybe one day I'll go back to these. Here is a second copy of Battlefield Bad Company 2. I bought it, I think it was super cheap, I'm not sure how much it was. Maybe like $10, $8, something like that. Bought it because it was backwards compatible and I really wanted to play it, but not on the PlayStation 3 because some of those games run like dog water. So I bought this and then I decided to sell the Xbox. So by the time I got here, the Xbox was gone, so I couldn't play it. But I believe I can play that on PC somehow. Also, Syndicate, another first-person shooter that's very sci-fi future-esque. Also, there's a 4-player co-op mode in this that you could play with people online. This is also backwards compatible and super cheap. I bought this because I played this a long time ago on PlayStation 3 and I really enjoyed my time with it. I actually remember when this game was announced, I was very excited for it. They announced it with some Skrillex song. I was like, yeah, man. That was like when I was super into dubstep and I was all for this game, man. But this game is actually pretty good from what I remember. Now we're gonna go into my PlayStation 4 titles here. For some reason, I have Agents of Mayhem for PlayStation 4. This is sort of when Saints Row was on a downward spiral. We had Agents of Mayhem, and then later on, we had that Saints Row reboot game they had that basically ended the franchise. But I enjoyed this one. I thought it was quite good. I really enjoyed the different characters in this and the weapons and stuff. A lot of people don't enjoy this one, just so you know. Then we have my favorite Battlefield game, that's Battlefield 4. I love Battlefield 4. The campaign in this is so damn good. The Levolution, oh yeah. I just love that opening scene in Battlefield 4 with the car crashing into the river, and then that song, I don't know what it's called, but that song is playing in the car while there's like a leak in the window and the car's going under, so you have to shoot the window for you to get out of the car. But this game is awesome. I love the campaign. The multiplayer was very fun, and overall I think this was the height of Battlefield's popularity. After this, it went down. Battlefield 1, a lot of people enjoy that one as well, but after that, I would say sort of went downwards, the popularity for these games. Then we have Borderlands, the Handsome Collection. This is Borderlands 2 and Borderlands, the pre-sequel. Honestly, I've never played Borderlands 2 that much. I've dabbled in it here and there. I never played the pre-sequel. The only Borderlands I've ever really messed with is the original Borderlands. For some reason, I always play that one for 20 hours or so, and then I bounce. I enjoy the Borderlands game, I guess, since the only one I've tried is the first one. But I definitely need to get to these one day. We will see, because there's a million games, guys. Call of Duty Ghosts. One of my favorite Call of Duties, believe it or not. Everyone hates this game. When it comes to the Call of Duty fan base, I think it's quite good. I love that section where you're outer space. It's so fun. I think it looks great. And I really enjoyed how you could dive into water and still shoot. It was very fun. And multiplayer, I also really enjoyed the extinction mode in this, which was sort of like a different wave mode instead of zombies. I really enjoyed the alien wave mode extinction. I thought it was very fun. So here's the newest game I've added to the PlayStation 4 collection. So I bought the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2. This comes with Capcom vs. SNK, Capcom vs. SNK 2, Capcom vs. SNK 2 Mark of the Millennium, which is an amazing game with an amazing soundtrack. Capcom Fighting Evolution, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Power Stone, Power Stone 2, Project Justice, and Plasma Sword. Also that Street Fighter Alpha 3, that's the upper version. A collection of 8 iconic Capcom titles, which I love my compilations and collections of older video games on one disc. I think it's awesome, especially for games that are actually quite expensive nowadays. I believe those Power Stone titles are actually really expensive, I want to say. I'm not sure if those Capcom titles are. Maybe the Capcom vs. SNK on PlayStation 1. All those Capcom titles are. I'm very excited to have this in the collection. Honestly, when you really think about it, I really don't need to have this in the collection. There's ways for me to play this through emulation, but I did want to support them having these collections, so I bought it at full price. I believe it was 40-50 bucks. Just trying to support Capcom, as I always am. I love Capcom. They've been knocking it out of the park lately with all of their releases. I'm not a huge Monster Hunter fan, but they have been doing good there, and Resident Evil and Devil May Cry. I'm very excited to see if they do make another Devil May Cry game. Then we have Dragon Ball FighterZ. Dragon Ball FighterZ is an amazing 2D fighter with an amazing art style. It looks so damn good. It looks better than the anime, honestly. If you want to play a fighting game that's 10 out of 10, okay, the story is not 10 out of 10. Don't play the story, just play the regular versus modes or whatever you want to play online. Play this online. But get the PlayStation 5 version, maybe. Also get it on PC. Bandai Namco knocked it out of the freaking park with this game. This is my release copy. This came out in 2018, so this is still my copy from that year. So I've had this for 7 years. Oh my god, I'm dying. Before you know it, I'm gonna be 80 years old. Then we have one of the worst Dragon Ball games of all time, Dragon Ball The Breakers. I hate this game. This is sort of a Dead by Daylight clone type of Dragon Ball game. I don't know why they made this. It's so stupid. If you guys enjoy this, why do you enjoy this? I cannot stand by I don't even know why this is here. I would get rid of it, but no one wants to buy this. I tried putting it on eBay, no one bought it. I might make $1 on it if I sell it. I don't know why I got it, guys. That game sucks. God of War 3 Remastered. If you guys have not played God of War 3, this is peak God of War. This is before we got the reboot in 2018. This came out, I want to say, this remaster specifically came out in 2015. But this is basically the only way to play a more modern, better looking version of this game on PlayStation 4 and 5 now. Sony hasn't brought the older titles forward, and this one isn't on PC either. God of War 3 is my favorite God of War. The boss battles are amazing in this, then the cutscenes and everything about this. That boss battle with Kronos is out of this world. It's amazing. And with all of the gods, Kratos is just murdering people in this game, and I freaking love him for it. This game is 10 out of 10, masterpiece, best God of War. I don't care what people say about 2018. I love 2018, okay? Look, I got 2018 right here is the next game I love. I was about to say next game is God of War 2018. But there's just something about these older God of Wars that just kind of puts them apart from these newer ones. These newer ones are kind of slower. You can't even jump in them. I love them, right? Not Ragnarok. Ragnarok was great. I just don't love it because it's way too big. But God of War 2018, amazing game. I love it. I love the story. The story's great. I love the combat. It's just there's sort of something going on with my feelings for God of War. I'm just kind of starting to hate this newer style of gameplay and starting to kind of enjoy more what these games were, the older ones. And definitely buy God of War 3 and play this. It's a masterpiece. Next game, guys, I was just talking smack about these. God of War 2018. When this game came out, I fell in love with it. It was my game of the year that year. I platinumed it, the whole shebang. And I honestly have not gone back to this one. I have it on PC, so maybe I should replay it there since that version probably runs better. I do plan on doing maybe like a review of it on the channel or something like that. Let me know what you guys would think of that. Let me know if you want to see a review of any of these games here. God of War 2018 was great. I loved it. And then God of War Ragnarok came out on PlayStation 5. And I don't know. It just didn't hit with me. The story was great, right? But then all the things you had to do in between the story, it was way too long. It was way too big for no reason. Okay, the Valkyrie fights in this are better than the, what are they called in Ragnarok, Ember fights or whatever. The Valkyrie fights in this are amazing. You guys need to play those. Then we have a little game that's not that popular, GTA 5. You probably have never heard of it. Grand Theft Auto 5 by a little company, indie company. I don't know why they call it Rockstar if they're indie company. GTA 5. I finally played through GTA 5 like a year ago. The PlayStation 5 version, not this version. But this is probably the version I played the most, playing it online with my nephews. I don't love Grand Theft Auto like other people do. I'm a much bigger fan of the Red Dead Redemption games, with the first one being my favorite. But GTA has never really been my thing as it is for a lot of people. I do enjoy it. I love using cheat codes on the PlayStation 2 GTAs and GTA 4 with Nico Bellic. I love GTA 4. I think that is my favorite Grand Theft Auto. This one, I just thought it was a bit, I don't know what it was. I really enjoyed it more towards the end when I did actually finish it. But I kind of didn't like switching between characters. I felt like there should have been more of a focus. And honestly, I really didn't enjoy the character of Trevor. He was this violent person. I wasn't like rooting for these characters, I'll tell you that. That's GTA 5. So the next game we have here is Infamous Second Son. I don't have the other 2 or 3 Infamous games, I guess, if you do count that First Light release on PlayStation 4. But Infamous Second Son, this isn't my favorite Infamous. The second one's my favorite. But this one takes place in Seattle, which is sort of in my state. I do enjoy going to Seattle, so seeing the Space Needle in this is kind of cool. But this one was good. Not amazing, though. I think the other 2 Infamous games are much better. when it comes to the story. This one is definitely a better looking game. But overall, I feel like a lot of people were let down by this because this was the game that people were waiting for on the PlayStation 4. This was the one they were excited for when they first announced the PlayStation 4. They announced this game as well. This game didn't end up being that game. That ended up being Uncharted 4. It's Infamous Second Son. I definitely need to go back to that game and just replay it so I could kind of like, you know, re-experience it to see if I'm wrong about it. Next, we have a launch title that came out with the PlayStation 4. That's Killzone Shadowfall. This is the last Killzone game that came out, if you don't count the Killzone Mercenary on PlayStation Vita. But Killzone Shadowfall, I think, is a great first-person shooter. Some people don't like this game as much as the other Killzone games, but this was technically the last mainline Killzone game, which kind of sucks because now they're just making Horizon and focused on Horizon. Listen, I love Horizon, but it would be nice to see Guerrilla go back to Killzone and make another Killzone. This one also had multiplayer in it, which was very fun, but I just remember back when this came out, I wanted to do YouTube content. And let's just say I didn't because I just wanted to make walkthroughs for some reason. And this was going to be one of the games that I tried doing that with, but I never ended up doing it. So whenever I think of this game, I think about that. So Killzone Shadowfall, I think, is a great game and very cheap. You guys can get this super cheap. The next game we have here is Little Big Planet 3. This game has been delisted on PlayStation Network, which is kind of weird because Sony owns this game. But I guess they just don't want people to be buying it because of what's going on. I believe the multiplayer servers, they were taken down or something like that. Little Big Planet 3. This was not made by Media Molecule. This was made by Sumo Digital. I believe Media Molecule at this point was working on Dreams and Tearaway, so they weren't really on Little Big Planet anymore, which I think was a mistake. They should have been making this game, I think. But this one people also really like. I haven't played too much of this one at all, but maybe I'll get to it one day. There is no way to buy this now, though, when it comes to PlayStation Network. So if you guys want to get this game, you gotta buy it physically. I would recommend getting it right now because it's only gonna increase in price, I'm guessing, if it's not on PlayStation Network. Next game is everyone's favorite game, and that is Chromia Omega. What is Chromia Omega? Okay. It says bullet hell blasting enters the next dimension. Adaptive AI enemies, true 360 action, shoot 'em up gameplay redefined. Just look at that, guys. Look, this game has been a huge joke in my family because I gifted this to one of my nephews for Christmas or something, and he was like expecting an actual game, and I gave him Chromia Omega. I didn't have money, guys, okay? I feel so bad for doing that. We come to the last 4 games, guys. One of the last games we have here is Mortal Kombat XL. So we have Mortal Kombat XL. This is one of the last Mortal Kombats that I've actually been into. After this, we had 11 and then 1. I'm not a huge fan of 1 with all the microtransactions. And basically after this, they kind of started putting all these microtransactions in these games that kind of just ruined the experience for me. I really don't like when games just are trying to sell you something every second that you are playing it, especially with Mortal Kombat. Over the last couple of years, or over the last, I would say maybe 6 or 7 years, all of NetherRealm's games have been littered with microtransactions, and I just don't enjoy the experience of dealing with all of that. Especially with 1, I did not buy 1 at all. I usually wait for like a complete edition of all of these games to be available for me to buy it. But even with 1, if that would even come out, I would not buy it at all. I just do not enjoy that game. Even if it is good, I've also heard that the online isn't as great, and the fan base overall isn't a huge fan of the direction that game took. I'm kind of done with Mortal Kombat, really. Next game we have here is Rock of Ages 3, Make and Break. I honestly don't really know how to describe this game to you guys. Over the course of this game, you're basically making this boulder. You have to guide it along a certain way without falling off of ledges, to then break down your opponent's door so that then you could squish them and win. I know it sounds freaking weird. It is a weird game. There's 3 of these now. Yes, that's the 3rd one, Rock of Ages. I've always enjoyed these games, especially the first one that came out back on PlayStation 3. 2 I don't remember playing too much of, but this one is great as well. This one specifically, I think the other ones don't have physical versions, but this one is like super cheap. You could find it for like $5 brand new on eBay. It's Rock of Ages 3. I would definitely check this one out. I really enjoyed playing this. This is 2 players, so if you want to play with someone else, and I believe it is 2 to 4 online. So here we have The Last of Us Remastered. This is the 2014 release, a year after the game actually released on PlayStation 3. It was remastered with Left Behind, and we also have that awesome factions mode. I would say this is my favorite version of The Last of Us. I know we have part 1 as the remake, but I would say really consider playing this version if you haven't played The Last of Us yet. It does have that really awesome multiplayer factions mode. This multiplayer mode is a blast. I'm just really sad that they canceled The Last of Us multiplayer game. I've always really enjoyed the factions mode. My entire family has really enjoyed the factions multiplayer, which is so weird. We would always play it on Wednesdays and Sundays like a family thing. We'd all hop on and play a stealth multiplayer like shooter. It's super fun. Kind of have to get good at it. The people that still play online are freaking insane how good they are. The character models in this just seem more natural to me on how they look. And playing part 1, something's like off about it. I really think this is the best version to play. If it is your first time playing through The Last of Us, I would really recommend playing this version. This is the cheaper version as well, so you could get this much cheaper than part 1. So definitely pick this one up. I believe I bought this for $10 brand new on Black Friday. We are on the final game, guys. That is the Uncharted Nathan Drake collection. This is the final game in my collection, which is a collection of 3 Uncharted titles. That is Uncharted Drake's Fortune, Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, and Uncharted Drake's Deception. Now, obviously, I've told you guys how I feel about the Uncharted trilogy. I think the Uncharted trilogy is the best, if not one of the best trilogy of games on PlayStation. You know, obviously there's the Resistance trilogy, the Killzone trilogy, the God of War trilogy. There's so many trilogies on PlayStation. The Uncharted series is definitely some of the best games you can play, some of the best action adventure cinematic games you can play. And Nathan Drake is just an awesome character. He's super funny, super lovable. If you guys have not played through the Uncharted games, I would definitely recommend playing through these. They're always super cheap too, always on sale. So this is definitely a collection worth having on your PlayStation 4. Now, yeah, guys, my entire small collection of 56 or 57 games that I do have here, I just wanted to go over it, kind of just chronicle it for the channel. I know it's not a lot of games, and like I showed you guys before, I did have a lot more games before, but to be frank, I don't enjoy collecting physical games as much as I used to. Honestly, back when I was a kid, I wanted to have a physical copy of every game. That's just what I wanted to do, you know, and recently in the last couple of years, I've kind of lost the need to do that. And I don't know, as you guys see back there, a lot of my games are just missing or I've gotten rid of. I really don't see the point in having a collection of stuff you don't like. You know, a lot of people collect video games, they have massive collections of all of these games, and really you don't play any of them, so they're just sitting there. It's just kind of sad when you really think about it. That copy should be with someone that wants to enjoy the game, wants to play the game. Obviously we can't play all of our games, so having the collection there, like how I have those Dragon Ball Z Blu-rays over there, I don't watch those all the time, you know. It's just nice to have them. I get it. I know how people feel about that. But at the same time, you know, I'm not really gonna make myself feel bad for not having physical versions of every game out there when I enjoy playing the most on PC now. So that's the way I'm gonna go with it. I will have future collection videos if you guys like that. when I do buy more games. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. Let me know if there's any particular games in this collection that you guys want to see like a review of or anything like that. I'm just having fun making content here, and I really enjoy you guys tuning in. If you do tune in every week or leave a like or anything like that, I very much appreciate you guys. And you know, this has sort of always been a passion for me, making videos like this. As always guys, let me know what you guys thought of this video. Let me know what games I should have in my collection. Let me know what's in your collection. Do you guys collect for certain systems? What do you guys collect for? And as always guys, take care out there, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.